Welcome to Sense and Nonsense A to Z, where we pick topics based off of the letter of the day. Today is episode 17 of season 1, featuring the letter Q.
We're family and we're your hosts, AT and Z. So let's get started. I have a special Q hello for us.
Okay.
Q hello.
QLO?
QLO.
What's that?
It's Q and hello because I couldn't
There's
find not one. I tried hi, hello, good day. The only thing I got close was Galician, have a nice day, which is.
What about Que pasa? That's a Q.
Que pasa. Que pasa. Right. But I also did Que teñas un buen día, which is have a nice day in Galician. So let me even do one better.
Okay.
Que teñas un buen aniversario. Have a nice birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was yesterday, but I'll still take it.
It's good. It's all good.
Yeah.
It's good. How did it go?
Remember how I said on Mother's Day?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the morning.
Same,
that was
huh?
the morning. The morning was a travesty.
Wow.
But once I got little guy off to school,
Mm-hmm.
and the day started picking up. I started to hear from people, and it perked the day up. But he was a challenge, let me tell you.
Good. Yeah. Hey, have you heard about this monkeypox stuff?
Yeah.
It's always something.
Yeah.
Another reason to keep a mask on, right?
You know,
keep the wipes going, keep the mask on, just, do what you have to do.
Here's the reality. Humans are disgusting.
Okay.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And so there's always something,
Yeah.
there's always some kind of nastiness going around, whether it's a bug or it's a pox or a plague or a pandemic or something.
Yeah.
So people are nasty and gross, and it's just something that we have to live with. There's
hygiene, huh?
There's 7 billion of us on the planet.
Yeah.
We're bound to be a little grody. Germs are bound to be prolific.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate, but it's the way of it now.
Yeah. My Rangers and the Hurricanes are in a battle here. Hurricanes are leading 2-1, and there's a couple games this week, so we'll see what happens.
I haven't paid a minute of attention to that, I have to say.
I'm surprised that it's not all over TV, over there.
Oddly, I didn't watch any TV at all, like network TV or anything this weekend. So I didn't see any news or anything like that. I haven't seen anything on it.
Mm-hmm. So Que pasa?
Que pasa? Well, I got a lot of lunch dates this week, so that's fun. That's cool.
Good.
Yeah.
All right.
And I have book club.
Oh yeah, that's coming up, right?
I have book club tonight, so I have to hurry up and finish reading a book.
Yeah. All right. I have 10 Q questions for you.
I can't wait.
You can't wait.
I can't wait to see what these are.
I know. Well, Q's actually not that bad. At first I was like, oh, Q, what am I going to do here? But hopefully we'll get through this. Okay.
Okay.
All righty. First question. Is quality or quantity more important?
I think you always got to go with quality, don't you?
I do. I cannot imagine picking quantity over quality.
I can't think of one instance except maybe money.
Money. Yeah.
That's the only.
You're right.
That's the only
and
one.
I really don't care about the quality of the money.
No, I don't care either. I don't care if it looks like it's been knocked down, drug out, and
exactly
run over. I don't care. No.
Yeah. Alrighty. Next question. What do you like in your quesadilla?
I like cheese and I like chicken, but I prefer my chicken shredded to cubed in my quesadilla.
Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. That's exactly how I like mine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's make some. Okay. What movie do you think of when you hear quicksand?
The Princess Bride.
Me too. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
And there's so many movies that have quicksand in it.
I know.
Like The Mummy.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana Jones.
Yep. Yeah.
I was even thinking of Blazing Saddles had quicksand in it.
But it's the Princess Bride.
This Bride, I know. Isn't that funny? Yeah, Wondered how they did that. The quicksand in Princess Bride. How they filmed that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. Whether it was all computer generated or
nah. The special effects were so low techy in that movie.
Yeah.
They probably did it with water or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. What part of the day that's normally noisy would you prefer to it be quiet?
I always prefer it to be quiet.
I do too. But I like my mornings to be quiet.
But my mornings aren't generally noisy.
No? Okay.
No. This is why this is a tough question. I guess I would say the morning I generally want to be quiet, but they are quiet. Even little guy prefers the morning to be quiet. Like he watches TV in the morning. And if it's too loud, he's always done this. Even if I'm still in my room, he will bring me the remote and he'll ask for it to be turned down. So generally it's not very loud in the mornings, but I would definitely prefer it to be quiet at that time.
I do too. I probably should have rephrased that question, but we'll leave it as is.
Okay.
All righty. Next one. Quantum blank.
Physics.
I knew you were going to say that.
How did you know?
I just kind of knew it.
Huh.
There's no way you were going to go with like quantum mechanics or quantum leap. Remember Quantum Leap?
I do remember that show. It's actually one I considered doing because I used to watch it all the time. Yeah.
Really? Scott Bakula, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next question. Your favorite Quaker company product?
It's got to be the instant oatmeal. As a matter of fact, the ones that come in the little cups are my favorite because they're so easy, but they're kind of pricey. So.
Yeah. For me now, it's oatmeal, but when I was young,
it
was Captain Crunch cereal.
I loved Captain Crunch. Actually, to be honest with you, I loved Crunch Berries.
Oh, see, that wasn't my favorite. I liked the peanut butter ones. Oh, of course. And I liked the regular. Then the berries was like the third for me.
Oh, no. I liked the one with the berries in it. You can actually get, I think, that cereal with all Crunch Berries now.
Oh, yeah. Ooh.
But I liked the combo with the Crunch Berries. I tend to not eat cereal too much anymore. So
I don't either.
It's the oatmeal now.
Yeah, for me too. Okay, next question. Name a quote that you like. This one's hard, I know.
My mind's a blank, and there are lots of quotes that I do like. I have one, actually, yeah. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. And that's by Henry Ford.
Oh, nice.
Do you have one?
I was thinking of live long and prosper. Exactly.
We're doing the hand motion right now.
We really are.
Do you know that in little guy's prayer that we say at night, I have incorporated live long and prosper in it?
Really?
Absolutely. It's a great credo.
It really is.
It's absolutely great.
Yeah.
That's so funny that you say live long and prosper. That's going to tie in so much later. Okay.
Oh, good. Okay. Next one is, I know you know a lot about sports.
Okay.
Favorite quarterback?
Tough. Eli Manning.
Oh, that's a good one.
I think Eli,
mine, right?
Huh?
You know mine, right?
Joe Namath.
Yeah, baby. Joe Willie.
I better know. If I don't know, I'm in a lot of trouble if I don't know. I think Eli, because he had a lot of pressure, Eli, and he did well, even having that pressure.
Yeah, I like him.
He was in Peyton's shadow for a really long time, and he carved out a spot for himself, and I like that kind of gumption from the underdog.
Me too.
So.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. What makes you queasy?
So many things.
Let me count the ways.
The things that make me queasy are other people being sick. I've talked about that before. Like if it's in movies anywhere, I don't like it. Yeah.
I know. Motion sickness for me. That's what makes
me. Yeah. I didn't used to have that. I didn't used to have that. And at some point after I had little guy, it started to hit me a little bit more.
Really?
Yeah.
Isn't it weird how the body changes after you have a kid?
It changes so much. Like I used to have no problem riding in a back seat, but now I'm like, that doesn't work out well for me anymore.
Actually, I'm the other way around. I couldn't ride in the back seat. Now I can.
Wow.
Yeah, when I was young, I couldn't do it.
Oh,
Just couldn't do
gosh.
it.
How do
Yeah.
you deal with that in a family, like when you're in a family of
Well, when I
multiple
was a little
children?
kid, I squeezed into the front seat, you know?
Yeah. Well, Papu always had those bench seats too. We had bench
Mhm.
seats back in the
Yeah.
day, which made that a
Yeah.
lot easier. You can't now.
Yeah. Yeah. Class trip, I had to take the front because if I was other than the front, I wouldn't make it on a class trip.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah.
That's really rough.
Had to talk to my teachers. So,
Yeah.
okay. Last question.
Okay.
Do you have a recipe that includes quinoa?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I love quinoa.
I have nothing.
Really?
Nothing.
What I can do with quinoa is take a ground beef mixture,
Mhm.
tomatoes, mushrooms. You can put onions,
Yeah.
stuff like that
Yeah.
in a pan, quinoa separately. Then you just use it like rice and you put that over it
Okay.
and put like some zucchini and stuff like that. Just
Can you
use
like put it in
rice.
meatballs like instead of breadcrumbs? Can you do that?
I'm sure you
You
could.
have to kind of soak it first, right?
You have to cook it.
Yeah.
You have to cook it. You can't use it dry. You have to
Yeah,
cook it
okay.
first.
All right.
But you can like use it in place of rice or pasta, something like that.
I've never
Quinoa
used
salad.
it, so I don't have a clue.
It's real good. It's real
Yeah,
good. It's got a little
yeah.
bit of a nutty flavor to it.
Oh, I'd like that.
I think you would.
Yeah.
Give it a shot.
So you did good.
Yeah, it's all right.
Isn't it funny how food always makes its way into these 10 questions?
Well, it's a big part of our lives, let's face it.
Food.
Yeah,
food.
we like to eat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do a cue prop
Oh, okay.
instead of a peeve.
No, good. I like props.
I like props too.
Mhm.
So I'm giving a prop to Queen Elizabeth II.
Yee.
For skipping out on a dutiful event so she could attend a joyful one. On Friday, May 13th, the Queen made a surprise appearance at the Windsor Horse Show. She sat in her Range Rover for most of the event because she's been having mobility issues, but she got to cheer on both her great-granddaughter, Lady Louise Windsor, who led the parade, and a few of her ponies.
Nice.
One of which won their race. The Queen loves that. She's been involved in horse breeding and horse racing her whole life. So on Tuesday, the Queen had opted out of the state opening of Parliament, which she normally resides over, and sent Prince Charles in her stead.
There you go.
And I give her mad props.
Cover for me.
Yeah, I give her mad props for cherry picking a fun event over a dutiful one, given the fact that she had COVID in February.
Yeah.
And is currently having a hard time getting around. She didn't want to tire herself out.
And she just turned 96, right?
She just had a birthday, April 21st, and that is the day of professional commitment, coincidentally.
Oh my God.
The dignified people born on April 21 put nothing above their professional excellence and integrity. And that has been her case for
so too.
70 years.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that at 96 years old, and given the fact that she's the oldest reigning female monarch in world history, she chose to go to an event that she loves rather than one she has to do out of obligation. She was crowned on June 2nd, 1953. So she is coming up on 70 years, her platinum jubilee, and she's the first British monarch to do so.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, right?
I like her.
I do too. I think she deserves to do stuff that she likes at this point.
Absolutely.
You know?
Come on.
Yeah.
I had seen her in the news just the other day about going to the train station called the Elizabeth line at Paddington Station. They just named a line after her and they just opened it up. She's wearing all yellow. She has a yellow coat, yellow hat. Beautiful. Yeah.
You know, it's funny about it because when she does horse racing stuff and everything, like she's got a little kerchief on her head.
Really?
Yeah, she dresses
instead of a
like
hat,
because
like the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, because she dresses like she dresses at Sandringham when she's on the country estate. You know, it's very low key. She's got a little kerchief on, and it's so cute. But when she's doing public appearances, she wears that bright stuff so people can see her. They can always spot her. But this one was like low key on the down low, and I love that. You know,
yeah, why not?
Yeah. So props to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we decided that we're going to do a new segment called Pick a Q. Pick a Q.
Pick a Q.
Pick a Q. because
And next time it'll be pick an R.
well, I don't know if we'll need to do it for R, but since Q is a little bit more obscure letter of the alphabet,
We'll definitely have pick an X.
yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
So we went and we dug up some words
Mhm.
that started with Q
Right.
that we thought we might want to revive or were
Or
cool
kind of
in
like
some
don't
way.
normally use, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So why don't you go first, AT?
Okay. So my pick a Q
Uh-huh.
is quagmire.
Quagmire.
Yeah. So the definition of quagmire is there's two. Soft, wet ground is a quagmire,
Mhm.
or more so that we probably use it, an awkward, complex, hazardous, or difficult situation with no easy solution. It's a quagmire.
Like a political quagmire. I think I've heard it used that way.
Mm-hmm. Or quagmire of issues, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, but I can see us using that ever so often, not in everyday jargon,
Right.
but every so often.
I would say more probably in print. That word
Yep.
is probably used.
Okay, so what do you got?
So I have a list because as I started getting into this, I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting. So
Do you have a dart?
I think I'm going to pick quaz. It's
Okay.
spelled Quoz, but it's pronounced quaz.
Quaz, right.
And it means an absurd person or thing.
Okay.
And I think this is a cool word because it reminds me a little bit of spaz.
Okay.
How fun would it be to just be like, you're being such a quaz right now?
Yeah, I like that word.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But another one that I came across, and I want to bring it up just because I think it's so weird. A quartan, Quartan, is a fever recurring every third day. Does this happen often enough? A fever reoccurs every third day that they needed to come up with a word for it?
That's weird.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird. And why a Q word? Because a Q word would be like a quad, like 4 days, right?
4, yeah.
But every 3 days would be like try.
I know.
So yeah, it's
weird.
weird. That's not the word I would have invented for that, if that's the thing at all.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. Quaz, like Quasimodo.
Exactly like that. I think that's probably the root word of Quasimodo. Yeah.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's use it in our episode if we can.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to do something a little different for my favorites this week.
Okay.
Instead of picking a TV show or an actor or whatever, I'm picking a character. And it's the Star Trek villain Q.
Okay. Was he one of your favorite characters?
Well, this was one of my Star Trek The Next Generation was one of my favorite series. And I think there are 2 villains in the Star Trek universe that really stand out for me. One is Khan.
Definitely.
And the other is Q because he's so prevalent through some of the series. And he was played by John Delancey and introduced on Star Trek The Next Generation in season 1, episodes 1 and 2, Encounter at Farpoint. And this first aired on September 25th in 1987. So I was 10 when this came out. And I remember we were anticipating this series and we were so excited for it because it was the first series since the original stopped in 1969.
Right.
And even though we had the movies and everything, we didn't have a series. And I grew up at this point watching the reruns of the original and adoring them. But I was excited.
William Shatner.
Exactly. We know how much I love him.
I know.
And I was so excited waiting for this because this was going to be my generation series. And I was super stoked about it. So when this came out, I remember we all were like sitting on the edge of our seats, listening to the intro and like him saying no one instead of where no man has gone before.
Oh, yeah.
We were all like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was such a big deal because it was including women and races and everything. And we were so excited about that. And then it winds up the first episode of this new series. Humanity is on trial
right.
by this villain called Q, who was a member of the Q Continuum, which was a race of omnipotent, immortal, godlike beings. And they were all called Q. And we're like, what the hell is going on?
What the heck is this Q thing? Yeah.
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 And he's designated in the Star Trek logs as an impudent, self-superior, and sometimes malevolent being whose juvenile behavior should never be mistaken for the amoral, unconscionable acts of which he is capable. So this means he's a hell of a lot of fun to watch.
Right.
Did you watch The Next Generation?
Oh, yeah. That was my favorite. Even though I lived through the first series, this was my favorite.
That's crazy because usually you're an original series kind of girl.
I know. But you know what? I guess I was really, really young at the time and didn't understand too much. And I liked the characters. I loved Picard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
But I liked those characters very much.
I did too. I grew up with them. So they're like a part of my DNA almost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think one of the reasons why I like Q so much is because he guest starred 8 times in The Next Generation. So every once in a while he would pop back up again. You're like, oh, here he is. And you always knew that when he showed up, it was going to be an interesting episode. Not that they weren't all interesting, but they were going to have a little something special when Q showed up. And it turns out at the end of that first encounter with him, he never renders a verdict on humanity. So we find out much later that the trial really does never end. And he is one of the greatest Star Trek villains of all time because he doesn't just appear in the Next Generation series. He also shows up in Deep Space Nine, a couple of times in Voyager, and even on the animated series, The Lower Decks in Veritas. And throughout this whole time, he's just obsessed with Jean-Luc Picard. You know, he brings him up even when he's not around or he has nothing to do with the conversation. And he really uses him as this benchmark for humanity. And now he has arrived in Picard season 2.
Wow.
And
again?
Yes, he has showed up 34 years later. And Picard's like, no, why are you here? I don't want to deal with you anymore. I'm not in space. Leave me alone. I'm old.
Oh, so they're on Earth at this point.
He is on Earth. He is no longer hanging around in space. And
so Q comes to Earth.
Q comes to Earth.
Interesting.
And just, you know, seemingly just creates, as he normally does, this huge giant pot of chaos.
Quagmire.
And a quagmire. Exactly. And Picard's like, I can't handle you anymore. And Q tells him, you know, as I told you the last time we met, the trial never ends. And so Picard's just like, oh man, I just don't want to deal with you anymore.
Yeah.
And it turns out, by the way, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Picard season 2 yet and you don't want to hear this little bit, fast forward to the next segment because there's a spoiler here. It winds up that Q is doing Picard a great service by showing up. And he's doing this as a last ditch effort to help his friend before he dies. We learn that Q is dying. And this whole setup, this whole thing about him coming back is so that he can move Picard past this childhood trauma that he has regarding his parents that's kept him stuck basically his whole life. So it's very interesting. It's very touching when it happens. It's completely unexpected. And it's probably one of the most touching moments, I think, in the whole Star Trek universe for me, because it is these two characters who have such a long and contentious history.
Right. Does he actually die?
We don't see him die, but he gives a last snap and then he's gone. And
he actually snaps?
Yeah, he does a snap and that's it. Yeah. So it's good. And John Delancey had said, like, he had 2 caveats for doing Picard. And he said, don't make me funny, because he didn't want to do that. And he's very sincere in this season, which is kind of off-putting and strange to see him being so sincere. And Picard doesn't trust it because of that.
Yeah, but his character was a little sarcastic too.
He was sarcastic. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he's still very much Q. Yeah. He does not give away his reasons for doing this. You cannot figure him out. while he's doing this. He is busting Picard's chops the entire time.
Oh, geez.
You know,
Okay.
and
Okay.
Guinan's in it. I mean, they really do a lot in this season 2 of Picard. But he said, don't make me funny and don't put me in tights. and he's like, that doesn't age well, you know. So they didn't do those things. And I think it's a big payoff for people who are fans of the Star Trek canon, and especially of the Next Generation series. And, you know, in addition to Q being in the Next Generation and doing these series, he's narrated all the audiobooks for the Star Trek novels, and he even wrote one called IQ. So he is very much a part of this universe.
IQ,
yeah.
That's cute.
Yeah. And every time I see him in a role somewhere else, I immediately think of Q. He is Q.
Oh, of course.
No matter what.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
He did a guest starring role in Ally McBeal in 1998.
Okay.
Before Robert Downey Jr. started on the show. And I'm looking at him the whole time and I'm like, why is Q on Ally McBeal? I can't, I can't handle it. But yeah, so this was a nice kind of full circle, because the first episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation, introduced him. And then the last episode of Picard season 2, he goes. So
very interesting.
Yeah, very cool.
I haven't seen it. It is something I want to see, though. Picard.
I think it's worth it because it's such a different kind of series. It's not the same. It has him in a very different place. Picard is very reflective,
right?
And there's lots of different. I mean, we get sprinklings of some of the old players in Next Generation, but it's a new cast for the most part, and they have a lot to offer, I think. So it's cool. Really entertaining. So if you get a chance, definitely.
And that's on Paramount Plus, you said?
It is on Paramount Plus, yes. Okay.
Sense or nonsense Q edition?
Okay.
Ready for the category? Quartz.
Quartz. Okay.
Sense or nonsense? Quartz is one of the most common minerals found on Earth.
Yes, sense.
Every rock contains at least a small amount of quartz. Every rock.
Wow.
Very good.
Aha. One down.
Yep. Okay. Next question. Sense or nonsense? Quartz is the hardest natural mineral.
Isn't it diamond? I'll say nonsense.
You're 100% correct. You came up with the correct answer too. The hardest is diamond, then it's moissanite, then it's corundum, then it's topaz.
Wow.
And then it's quartz. I was like, topaz really is harder than quartz?
Wow, I'm surprised. Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Yay!
Yay, 2 for 2.
Yay.
Okay. Sense or nonsense? Clear quartz, also known as rock crystal, is the rarest variety of quartz.
Sense. Now.
Nonsense. No. Quartz comes in almost every color.
Right.
The citrine, yellow, is the rarest type of quartz. Some gemstones come in yellow, but the citrine only comes in yellow, which makes it very rare and desirable. Clear quartz, however, is the purest quartz. So, ready for some factoids?
Yeah.
Okay. The amethyst, purple quartz, is also one of the most rarest variety. A favorite of royalty throughout history because of its unique coloration. And by the way, a favorite of ATs.
Yes.
Yeah. It is my favorite.
Yeah.
Okay. Sand containing clear quartz is used to make glass. Quartz is made up of silicon and oxygen. Because it contains pure silicon, quartz is used in many computer components. Granite contains at least 20% quartz. A giant piece of quartz weighing 90,000 pounds was mined in Brazil.
Holy crap.
One piece. Can you imagine?
No.
That's
how did you get something like that out?
Oh, probably with a crane, right?
Yeah, but I mean, you've got to mine it. You've got to dig all around, and you've got to Jeepers.
They probably
They
had to
gotta-
break it up. I'm sure they didn't pull it out all in one piece. You just can't.
Well, they said it was one piece.
I guess they found it in one piece,
Oh,
right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not up on mining.
I don't either. Okay, boys, bring in all the cranes we got. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't either.
Yeah, but
Jeepers.
apparently this is a fact.
Okay.
I found it all over the place. Okay. Quartz is ideal for countertops because it's extremely hard and never needs to be sealed or polished.
Ooh.
It's also non-absorbent, which resists staining and bacteria, unlike granite and marble.
Is it heat resistant?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. There are many uses for quartz because it can conduct electricity under pressure. Quartz crystals have piezoelectronic properties that transfer energy to mechanical or digital movement. Widely used in electronics, clocks, watch, radios, microphones, robotics, blah, 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 etc.
Mm-hmm.
Quartz is commonly used in spiritual practices.
Mm-hmm.
It's known as the power healer, used to clear the body's toxins and effective for arthritis, bone injuries, chronic fatigue, and depression. Also beneficial in amplifying positive energy, meditation, protection, concentration, and memory.
You
Quartz
go
is a
in
good thing.
any occult shop and you're going to find yourself a lot of quartz.
A lot of quartz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So pretty anyway.
It is.
I love quartz.
I do too.
Yeah, I really do. All colors.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one band that owns the letter Q. This band is probably the most important to me my whole life, and I believe it's the same for you.
Absolutely. Without a doubt.
All you have to do is clap your hands or snap your fingers and you know the band.
Or stomp your feet.
Or stomp your feet and clap your hands.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. We're talking about Queen, of course. Either
So
We
many,
Will Rock You or Killer Queen.
so many anthems, though, really.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Our band members are Brian May, Roger Taylor, John Deacon, and of course, Freddie Mercury. Farouk Basara.
Mm-hmm.
It all started with Brian May, Roger Taylor playing together in a band called Smile from 1968 to 1970. And then Freddie was such a big fan and friends with Tim Tafel, who was the lead singer at that time. At one point, Tim was packing it in and Freddie kept on saying, I want to be in a band. I want to be in a band.
Mm-hmm.
And then when that happened, he joined and the rest is history. Their three-part harmonies are a very distinct sound. It's heavy metal with a twist of opera, with a twist. I hear vaudeville in there too.
Oh, there's so many things.
There's so many things.
Influences.
And the English folklore lyrics are so distinct. I can remember the first time I heard Queen. This was in the beginning of 76. And I had a job, a corporate job. It was in an office. We all went out to lunch. We all piled into somebody's vehicle. So that person had Queen. This was before anybody knew the band.
Mm-hmm.
The next day we're out going to lunch. We all piled in that vehicle. Queen was still on. And I kept on hearing Freddie's voice. I grew up with the best choir teacher in the whole world. He was the absolute best. His name was Winston Hughes from Edison High School. He was very particular on enunciation. And I listened to Freddie's voice and I was like, this guy is good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he hit the notes. I understood every word. Go in a car the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Tape was still on. And it's like, these guys are really good. So I got it myself. I got the 8-track at that time, started playing that. And I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
Got the album. Then I bought the 3 albums before that. I had 4 albums that I kept on playing and playing. Got the music book. I played them on a piano.
I watched a thing on Auto-Tune that a guy was like taking a Maroon 5 song and listening to Auto-Tune and separating the track from the raw vocal to when they were using Auto-Tune, how they were using it, and whatever. To some people needing the Auto-Tune to be able to hit the note and whatever. And he deconstructed a Queen song listening to Freddie, saying if Auto-Tune had been around during the time of Freddie Mercury, would he have used it? Would he have needed Auto-Tune? And it shows you the graph of auto tune on the computer, and he would hit his note every single time. Freddie Mercury is better than auto tune.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool? The way he uses and manipulates the notes to go from one to the next and hit and hit and hit. He's better than auto tune.
I totally get that. As a matter of fact, their motto in the beginning was no synthesizers. That was a big motto of theirs. So I cannot imagine him using any kind of technology like that, because if I know anything about the band, they wouldn't have gone in that direction.
No, but I think he may have experimented and used it like on a song for a specific purpose to get a specific sound. But but as a rule to use it to fix himself, no, never. No.
And the other thing is with the no synthesizers, everybody was like, yeah, well, how are they doing some of this stuff? Brian May is such a great guitarist. I know he's ranked within the top 10. I'd say he was in the top 5 for me.
I would agree.
And by the way, do you know he uses a sixpence instead of a guitar pick?
No, I didn't.
Yep.
How about that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
He can manipulate the guitar that he didn't need a synthesizer.
He's incredible. He really is.
Absolutely. Freddie Mercury is known as the best rock singer of all time, the best rock performer of all time. I mean, what a band. Roger Taylor, top 10 drummers of all time, and all of them wrote.
Yes, they did. They all contributed. And I saw an interview and Brian May was talking about that really. And he's like, we all have something unique to bring that works off of the others.
Sure.
That's why they think they had the success that they had, because the range of the things that they liked were so different. They appealed to a wide audience.
And they were so smart too.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the education that everybody got. And Brian May has a PhD.
Yeah.
You know?
it's like an astronomy or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And John Deacon is an electronics engineer.
Exactly. And I think Roger Taylor went for biology or something like that.
Yes, dentistry, then biology.
And Freddie was design. Yeah.
Arts and design.
Yeah. You can see that in some of like the structure of their songs. It's not willy-nilly.
No.
Just thrown together. I mean, these songs are very structured.
So I sat down and I really kind of thought about how many times I've seen them. I saw them 5 times live, and it was all in Madison Square Garden. First time I saw them was February 5th in 1977. It was the day after my birthday.
Oh my gosh, how fun.
I'll never forget that.
No.
The second time I saw him was December 1st, 1977. And you were like, how do you remember that? So he introduced Ella Fitzgerald that was in the audience.
Oh, no way.
And he did My Melancholy Blues, dedicated it to her. So I was able to track down a website that showed me the playlist.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let me find where Melancholy Blues was. December 1st, 1977.
Wow.
I'll never forget that. Isn't that weird? How the brain works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was so little. I was like only half a year old at that point.
Yeah. At that time, he had his white leotard.
Black
leotard.
Yeah.
The white and black with the diamond.
I like the white and black
stripe.
Yeah.
Yeah. And always ended the show with God Save the Queen.
Absolutely.
I did a lot of art in my time too. I did a pencil drawing of Freddie. As a matter of fact, it's on Facebook. It was from 1978. I dated it and signed it.
Cool.
And so I'll post that.
Okay.
And I also did Queen Crest.
Day at the Races on this one?
Yeah. And which Freddie designed the logo. It consisted of the astrological signs of everybody. So there's the 2 Leos, a Virgo, and a Cancer. I thought that was ingenious.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah. I always wore Queen stuff, and some people would approach me and say, you know, Freddie's got a great voice. Boy, can he really hit those high notes and that sort of thing. It's like, yes, he can hit the high notes, but those ultra high notes, that's Roger Taylor.
That's right. Which is such a weird thing because his regular singing voice is so gravelly, but he sings all the high harmonies and like Bohemian Rhapsody and everything.
Yeah.
I know.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It is.
I love his songs, by the way. I mean, my favorite songs are the Freddie songs, but I love the Roger songs.
I know. They're cheeky, his songs.
They are.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I like him too. I love the whole band.
I do too.
But And I do love Brian May, but I
Oh,
think
me
after
too.
Freddie, I probably love Roger the most.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I never got to see them live, which is one of the big regrets really of my life. But I've watched
Well, you were too little at the time.
I was
too.
young, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Live at Montreal
Mhm.
concert I've seen lots of times. I actually have it. And I remember the first time I watched it, and it's pitch black. It's pitch black, except for people, using their lighters, which we did back then.
Yes. Now they use their cell phone.
Yeah. And the lights come up, those iconic lights that they had that Foo Fighters wanted to use when they did Wembley, because it was the way Queen did it was just so awesome. But I remember the feeling of watching him come out for the first time, and he had those white jeans on and a white tank top with the Superman logo on it, and he had a black leather jacket on.
Mhm.
And it was just pared down. There wasn't any of the theatrics or anything like that. And I thought, he could still pull it off, even with this outfit on that's not flashy. He was still dynamic. The crowd still went crazy when they saw him. And then when he took off the jacket, the crowd erupted. It's like, this guy was so enigmatic. It didn't matter. He didn't need the theatrics. He just exuded that. The way he moved.
That was his nature.
The way he moves is so unique to him. I've never seen anybody move the way he moves across the stage.
I remember one of his shows when he first came out. It was when he cut his hair and grew a mustache.
Yeah.
And he asked the crowd. I was like, yeah, no, you should. We like the long hair.
I know. But he never got rid of it. He kept that mustache going.
I know. So, number one album of all time is Night at the Opera.
It's my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Bohemian Rhapsody is considered 6 minutes of a masterpiece. So I remember waiting for the next album. And the next album came out was A Day at the Races. And I'm a huge Marx Brothers fan. So I was like, okay, so what's their next album going to be? Is it going to be Duck Soup? Animal Crackers? As a matter of fact, the next movie after Night at the Opera, Day at the Races was Room Service. So I'm like, is it going to be Room Service? It ended up being News of the World, which was phenomenal. Anyway.
Yeah.
And talk about anthems. We Will Rock You, We Are the Champion, anthems. I remember you stayed over a couple of days for New Year's of 1978. So you were 7 months old at that point. And I put News of the World on because I had just a portable 8-track player. Then came Sheer Heart Attack. And I held your hand, and, we would be playing, and, I'm singing to you, and you're so little. But when Sheer Heart Attack came on, you, with your rump, would rock the bed back and forth, back and forth. And I had a twin little bed, and it's like, oh my God, this kid likes this song. I called in Yaya, and I said, look at what she does with this song. And so that had to be your first song that you liked, by the way.
Yeah. I think
Sheer Heart Attack.
I don't remember it, but it must be.
I'm telling you. And then the other thing I remember with you is the next album, Jazz.
I like that album a lot.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And by the way, Yaya really liked Mustafa because it had that European flair to it.
Yeah. Middle Eastern.
She loved it. Okay. But so at this point, you were about 1.5 years, and I'd play that. And the first time, I'll never forget your face, the first time you heard Bicycle Race, and it got to the bike bell. Bling, 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 bling. You were like, oh, and we would dance to that too. So I would hold your hands, and you were walking at that point. You were walking really good. So we would dance. We'd step left, step right. And then you'd stop. And it's like, bling, 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 bling. So I knew you liked Queen from when you were a baby.
Yeah.
So my favorite album of all time is Night at the Opera. But my second favorite is going to surprise you.
Okay.
It's The Game.
I love The Game.
It's my second favorite album.
I love it.
Then I would say jazz is my third.
I love jazz as well.
Yeah.
And then I think A Day at the Races
Mm-hmm.
is probably next.
Yeah. I love them all. Don't get me wrong. I love them
I do
all.
too.
I have them all. I had them on on
I
8-track,
know.
but I have all the albums and I have all the CDs. The only one I don't have is their Made in Heaven, the one that they put together after Freddie died.
I don't have that either.
I don't have that.
No.
Did you come over during Live Aid at my house?
No.
No,
No, I
Okay.
saw that at home.
Okay, because
Yeah, I
I
watched it at
remember watching the whole thing.
Yeah, we watched it.
It was a
too.
Saturday. Yep.
Yeah, we watched the whole business.
Okay, so you were home.
Yep. I remember when they came on.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
I mean, it is in London. So, I mean, they do have a home court advantage, right?
Yeah. But you
But-
remember Live Aid? They were flipping back and forth.
They
all
were
over the
flipping
place?
all over the place.
Yeah.
And they were on in the sunlight, which I was like, oh, really? They put them on early before the sun went down, huh?
Mhm.
Okay. And they came out, and again, Freddie dressed very simply, really light colored jeans, white tank top.
Yeah.
He had that stud around
Armband.
his, around his bicep. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. They're gonna do it in the sunlight. They're doing it without any theatrics. And immediately the crowd just goes bonkers because they start with the opening of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
And it
They
was
stole
just
the
like,
show.
This performance is lauded as the best live performance of all time. And they only played for 21 minutes.
Yeah. It's incredible.
And it's the best one.
It's incredible. And knowing who was there also.
Mm-hmm.
There were mega stars.
Mega
Mega.
stars. You know, and Freddie said he was incredibly proud to be a part of it, not only because of the charity, but because of the incredible other acts that were there. You know, they were a part of that.
Yeah.
I remember watching it the first time, and every time I've watched it since, it gives me chills in lots of different spots. But listening to them do Radio Gaga and watch the whole crowd clapping and doing the arm thing is just like, can you imagine how that must have felt to them to watch the crowd at Wembley Stadium, the whole place doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And then when he does the sing along, that whole business, that later was christened The Note Heard Around the World, him doing that, because it engaged the audience in such an impactful way. And again, the whole crowd was doing the Ayo.
Yep.
And he was so happy with them for their performance. They were just as happy with his performance, but he was like, all right, you know, like
that's how he's all right. That's how he ended it. Yeah.
I love it. I love the fact that he was messing with the cameraman. Everything about that performance was awesome. It was awesome. And I love the fact that even now it still holds up.
Yeah.
That's the best one. If you Google it, say who is the best act at Live Aid, Queen comes up.
Yeah.
It's unanimous.
Absolutely. Okay, a couple of things I wanted to mention. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2001 by Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins. They had a couple of Grammy nominations and never actually got a competitive prize, which really stinks.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, they got the After Effects
Yeah.
Grammys, you know, for lifetime achievements and that sort of thing, but it really stinks.
It does.
They have a star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They've been inducted in Songwriter Hall of Fames and UK Hall of Fames and all that good stuff. Bohemian Rhapsody was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. 2018, they were awarded a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. And according to Guinness Book of Records, Queen has the longest running fan club.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to mention, given that the movie Wayne's World in 1992.
Love it.
If you've never seen the movie, watch it,
God.
first of all. But they do this whole scene with Bohemian Rhapsody.
They actually revived
that
song.
And it was almost not in the film because neither Paramount nor Lorne Michaels wanted in the movie. And Paramount didn't want to do it because the rights to the song were too expensive. And Lorne didn't want to do it because the song was almost 20 years old at that point. And Mike Myers fought for the inclusion of it to the point that he threatened to quit the production if he didn't get that song in. And eventually they gave in, which I mean, it's one of the most
which made the
memorable parts.
movie.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me? And that song went on to become a bigger hit
The second time around.
Yes, than it was the first time because of that.
Yeah.
And we did find out, Brian May did confirm that Freddie did give permission for the song to be used, and he saw the clips of it before he died. So he signed off on it. Yeah.
That's
so
cool.
I know.
Yeah.
Love that movie for that
Yeah,
part.
I know. There's 2 statues of Freddie, by the way.
Is there?
There's one in Montreux, Switzerland, and that's where they recorded their last album.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful bronze statue of him facing the lake. Beautiful. The second one was just erected last month, April 21st. That's in Jeju Island in South Korea.
You're kidding me.
Just happened. Yeah.
Wow. Why is it in South Korea?
Very popular.
Wow.
International. These guys are an international phenomenon.
Yes. I think the only place Roger Taylor said they weren't allowed in Russia.
By the way, Brian May just released 2 videos, Another World and On My Way Up. That was last month. And this month, he released a Spanish version of Another World called Otro Lugar. That just got released on May 6th. Roger Taylor just released an album called Outsider last year. We can only imagine what would have happened if Freddie didn't die. Something I want to say is that I have a real hard time with innuendo.
Oh, yeah.
And watching the video and watching the end of it, these are the days of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, I still love you. Oh,
I know.
Does that get me?
There are so many songs that are like that for me, like Who Wants to Live Forever?
Oh, yeah, I know.
The Show Must Go On. Even I'm Going Slightly Mad.
And I love all those songs. Don't get me
too.
wrong, but I have a hard time.
They're heartbreaking.
They are
heartbreaking.
very heartbreaking.
I was in high school when he died, and I was devastated. I stayed home from school.
I was devastated. I mean, it was like losing a friend.
Absolutely. I just remember being in the bathroom, just like crying. I was just crying. It still upsets me to this day.
Yeah.
That's the hardest one for me.
For me too. Horrible.
Yeah.
Do you remember the video, I Want to Break Free?
Of course. I can't forget it.
And Roger Taylor, I mean, all the guys, they were funny. Okay?
I think that Freddie looked amazing.
He was beautiful.
Well, he was beautiful. Yeah.
He was a pretty man. And
it was his idea.
Girl. Yeah.
It was his idea.
I know.
Everybody thought it was Freddie's, but it wasn't.
No.
I love the fact that he kept a mustache.
Yeah.
And he had the wig on.
And pushing a vacuum cleaner.
Oh my God.
Freddie, Freddie was a piece of work.
Oh my goodness.
And the word was that he had 10 cats or something like that?
I don't know. But he was much lower key in real life, even though he was still eccentric.
Very much so.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he had talked about that people think that's, he's very dynamic and he's not. No. He's not. But they all had great senses of humor.
Absolutely.
And
I think they opened the door for a lot of stuff like that, a lot of camp and a lot of good humor.
And he was campy. That's the exact word for him.
Yeah.
He was campy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you saw the movie, right? What did you think of the movie, Bohemian Rhapsody?
I think it was credible. I mean,
they did take some stuff and make it a little Hollywood.
Yes, they took liberties with it.
Yeah,
I think
they really
do.
Did.
And I mean, they weren't making a documentary,
right,
right. They were trying to make it entertaining and put a little bit more drama in it and whatnot. But I thought it was good. Of course, being a fan and knowing some of these things, you could point out, where the divergence happens.
Yeah.
But, by and large, I thought it was good. I thought Rami Malek did a pretty good job.
I think he did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I would have liked for him to use brown contacts though.
Yeah. But
that's the only difference for me. I think I would have said, let's do the contacts.
Well,
yeah. But anyway, it was
the performance was really good. The performance was really good. Watching him do the Move for Move Live Aid version.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because they have a thing where you can do a side by side. So that's really cool. Yeah.
Talk about side by side. There's this one video. Oh, I don't remember which song it is, but it's a bunch of kids doing them.
Oh, yeah. Oh gosh, I can't remember.
But they were good. Those kids were good.
The kids were good.
Yeah. That's funny.
I think the Roger Taylor kid had a bandana around his neck.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah,
They were all dressed exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
It was cute.
yeah.
Oh, it was the Miracle.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
That was
job.
so cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about I Want to Break Free, which was a song that John Deacon wrote. And he wrote a lot of huge hits.
Yeah, he did.
He wrote You're My Best Friend.
Yep.
Love that song. And Another One Bites the Dust. He wrote that.
I was listening. Of course, I was listening to Queen the other day, and
Sure.
I was listening to You're My Best Friend. It's not one of my favorite Queen songs. However, I was thinking about it, and it's like, what a lovely song to have written about you.
Oh, yeah.
It's such a lovely song.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
What I was going to say about Another One Bites the Dust.
Oh, yeah.
That bass riff is legendary. And he was a hell of a bassist.
Mm-hmm.
He's been ranked within the top 15 of all time. And bassists just don't get recognized.
They don't.
For example, look at John Paul Jones. He doesn't get recognized other than McCartney. He gets recognized. He plays piano. He plays guitar too. So.
Exactly. And he was really out front a lot too.
Yeah.
Bassists tend to hang back.
Yeah.
They tend to be quiet.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're not really the loud ones. They don't draw your eye as much, but they quietly provide the backbone, really.
Yeah. I love bass.
Me too.
Unfortunately, once Freddie passed, that was it for him.
Yeah.
He finished up some projects and pretty much told the guys, I can't do this anymore. I mean, it's just not the same. I just can't.
I understand that. I get that.
I mean, it's a shame, but I totally do. So he pretty much walked away in 1997. And unfortunately, he didn't go to the Hall of Fame with the guys. And, he was totally done. So you were implying about your favorite song, right? That You're My Best Friend's not your favorite.
It's not one of my favorites.
So what is your favorite?
That's an impossible question when it comes to Queen for me.
Okay.
Because I'm Gemini, so I have lots of sides to me, and Freddie really caters to that. So depending on my mood,
right,
I have favorite songs. Like Seaside Rendezvous is one of my absolute favorite songs. Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon, absolutely one of my favorite songs because it's so cheeky. But then at the same time, Don't Stop Me Now. I love that song. And then I have all the favorites from my childhood, like you were talking about, Bicycle Race, Sheer Heart Attack, Killer Queen. It's impossible for me to pick a favorite. I have like 10 favorites.
Well, I have a bunch of favorites, but I can narrow it down. Obviously, Bohemian Rhapsody is just the ultimate for everybody. But my personal favorite is Somebody to Love. I love that song. It's
a great song. That song is one of my favorite songs to sing.
Oh, that's one of just my favorite.
Yeah. And Bohemian Rhapsody is not my favorite song.
No,
not from Queen. I love it, but I think because it's like everybody's go-to that it's not mine, you know?
Queen, my favorite band, your favorite band. It's been a major part of our lives. We can sit here all day and talk about them.
Yeah.
But they're just the best. They're always with you. I know they're always with me.
They're always with me, but they're always the band that I compare everything else to. They are the benchmark for me, the gold standard. Absolutely. There are bands that I absolutely adore, but Queen is the ultimate.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So we talked about the beginning of my birthday being a little bit rough, but I just wanted to say that I got a surprise too.
I got a surprise. Okay.
Yeah. I got a card from somebody in my family that I haven't gotten a card from in like 25 years. And it was a surprise. Yeah. So
was it a good surprise? Obviously,
it was a good surprise. It was it was a little giggle. It was a giggle, and it was really nice. So, you never know. You can't count people out. They'll surprise you.
People can surprise you. Yeah,
they sure can.
So, did a lot of Queen today. We ready to wrap?
I think so.
All right. We appreciate you listening. With that, Another One Bites the Dust. We're out of here.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.